The contemporary significance. Although the significance of words and names have lightly been obscured in the modern age, which tends to discount metaphysical and spiritual phenomena, the fact remains that our names have continued to have significant powers to influence us. Our name evokes a reaction from its or her companions that can powerfully affect a person's self-esteem. For example, in the very society throughout the world, children with unusual names are often ridiculed by their peers. The thought of the world of contemporary significance is of a name. However, it is more than simply just whether or not it leaves us open to embarrassment, but a few have been tremendously reassured of the interest in the traditional spiritual and religion, for example, of the Western religious traditions such as Christianity, Judaism, or even Islam, now choose names for their children based on favorite saints, biblical personages, or sages from their respective traditions. People from many cultural backgrounds have discovered and rediscovered the power and the meanings using names, and they reflect in their pride and in their roots, their families, and their national and also cultural origins. By using the understanding and the meaning of these names, you've found a way to maintain a living link in their own histories and add richness and depth into their contemporary lives. In addition of reawakening the traditional forms of religion and spirituality, there has also been tremendous growth and interest in mysticism, divination, and other methods of gaining deeper awareness and self-awareness, such as numerology, runes, tarot, and also the study of Kabbalah, have been also revealed of interest in the metaphysical disciplines of philosophies and the ancient ideas about the meaning and significance of names and how they became popular again. An increasing number of people have making an effort to consider a wider variety of options for their children's names and based on the metaphysical and spiritual consequences of those names. More and more people are beginning to realize that their own names possess powers that they can tap into personal strength and growth, which these names are of others can also be used as tools for improving their relationships. These are a growing suspicion to perhaps the ancient people were not as far off the wall. These modern scientific mind-like ways have assumed that the renewed interest matters a long ago that was written off by science and also irrelevant superstitious people that has led to the newfound respect for the new wisdom and knowledge of ancient cultures and the rediscovery of the forgotten secrets. As science itself, it continues to discover that things in the world are more intimately connected than we ever thought possible. And the idea of the name and the birth date and the place of the birth has a huge significance upon a person's life and how the destiny and everything that becomes more feasible. And the deep belief of the existence and the connection among all the things that positively in our name is fundamentally correct. And if all things intimately affect are in the related to all other things in a whole universal energy, there is a deep, spiritual life of which we all can draw into existence. Then the idea of the name that we ended up with is right for us, becomes a more plausible concept indeed, because of its amazing parallel discoveries in the fields in which quantum physics and many rational rational and intelligent people that are replacing an overt skepticism with a willingness to accept in all of their things we may understand nevertheless that it is all quite real and we affect in our lives in ways that we cannot yet imagine, but to conceive that the name that we are assigned to wear throughout our lifetime has a meaning for us should seem a small leap of imagination for compared to some people the incredible truth that science has discovered in the century the workings of the universe, both micro and macro levels, and to imagine that some contain power that their own right can bundle the energy and set off vibrations that no more can challenge the open mind. It can sense how a person can feel or its energy to consider the fact of. But everyone has one or another that they heard the phrases such as, you don't look like a Tom, or you look more like an Ellen than a Mary. We tend to associate these stereotypes with certain names based on experiences with bearing those names. However, despite the tendency in stereotypes, there are certain energies associated with names that are just taunts for thousands of years that these people will respond to this name typically because of the personal impressions and experiences that the certain truth to your name has probably identified very strongly, and it will because of the sense that it is right just for you. As this book hit on this internet book of name readings may become more consciousness and the symbolism, meaning that the names that you will utilize the powers to influence your destiny more directly and gain more visible sight into the characters and personalities of others whose names you analyze. And we also find that the name doesn't quite fit in some way, that you may need to analyze the in a light of your personality, where you may uncover what to deal with some people, or some problems that may lie in the fact that you're taking full advantage of the power of your name. Therefore, you are drawing strength and energy from it, and you should, on the other hand, find that you may be finding yourself more careful to analyze the meanings of your names of friends and simply don't feel right to you, in which you need to consider the possibilities in either changing your name or outright or changing the name that people call you and addressing you. For an example, if a good nickname or even a vibrant name that you're given might also fit your personality more closely, and using this means the referring of yourself, and you will give an opportunity to take advantage of power in your name that suits you. While people are discovering that the name has infinite significance and very mystical and spiritual levels, all therefore, there are very deep studies that are still apparently going on with the names, and that the name has certain specific influences that affect one's life, and they may be the course of because of someone that even like Alexander as a birth this will become a very powerful leader because of how Alexander was back in the day. There's a large range of various things that can affect the name, regardless of whether you accept the ancient teachings or the meanings of the letters, or the words, or the sounds. Even the fact remains that our names are fundamentally important part of who we are, by learning as much possible about our name and the names of those who not only we have better understanding and influences energies, but the name that you bear, armed with the knowledge that you have the opportunity to take the steps to improve the quality of your life, developing skills that allow you fully to embrace the power and the energy of your name.